Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 2. Is it 71? 71, 72, something like that. All I know is I'm well under 100 now, and I'm rolling downhill at this point. Except I've got a couple of weeks where I'm just going to be hanging out, so no riding. I'm going to have to get a little creative with content and stuff. Today is one of those days. So first thing, we got just a couple of announcements. So anybody going to Lake of the Ozarks in the middle of September, we now have an event on our page for a ride on Saturday. So one of our friends, Carl Cook, he has kind of made us a ride up for Saturday. So everybody's invited to take a ride with us, grab some lunch, and just hang out, see some of the beautiful area around Lake of the Ozarks, and have a good lunch at a nice little local place. And like I said, just hang out, have a good time. That's what it's all about, right? Getting to know each other, getting to ride together, all that fun stuff. Secondly, we had Angie just got off with a support call in New Jersey. So we're helping a rider out that went down up there, and hopefully we can get him everything that he needs to help himself out, because guys, these accidents are devastating, not only in just injuries but the family and all too, right? So he's got a small child, and he's the provider. So when he can't be the provider, then that kind of throws everything into a mess, right? And you got house payments and car payments and bills and food and babies and all this stuff to take care of. So we do our best to help all of those calls out. But that leads me kind of into what my subject of today was going to be. Insurance. I know, we all hate freaking insurance. I, for one, you've probably all heard me say it before, insurance, I feel like, is probably one of the biggest rackets in the world. Until you need insurance, right? And then it's one of the biggest saviors in the world. So, the thing that I've learned over the past couple of years that, I probably didn't even know before, was that insurance is more to protect you than it is to protect the other person. I always used to think that, I had insurance, so if I crashed into somebody, it would take care of them. Unfortunately, that's the way most people look at it. So they get the very bare minimum insurance they can get to qualify by law in their state. A lot of times that's like, say, $10,000. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Angie's sister-in-law, Brooke, came home with the kiddos, and I took the dog out potty, and it's a new dog, and I would hate to be the one that lost their new dog. That would not be not a very good uncle, right? So anyway, as I was saying, insurance. And each state has their own rules about insurance. I didn't really understand Florida's rules for the longest time, but the way I understand it now, and I could still be wrong, is my insurance doesn't cover any medical unless there is another car involved. So I have uninsured and underinsured, which is very important, right? Because if somebody crashes into you and they only have the $10,000 worth of coverage, then that's all you have to work with, right? So you had better make sure that you had uninsured, underinsured, because you can't even make it to the friggin' hospital for 10 grand. Let's face it, we ride motorcycles. So usually when we crash a motorcycle, the damage is extensive, right? And it's usually not just, oh, my back hurts or my neck hurts, right? Like a lot of times it is with the car. It's usually, road rash and who knows what else. So anyway, that's a very important coverage, but I'm not the expert at this. You need to get with a attorney locally, even your insurance guy, and just say, look, I want to be covered. So for us, like, we have medical insurance that covers us, and I literally had to go to the company we got medical insurance and be like, here's what I want. If I'm riding down the road and a dog runs out in front of me and I dodge the dog and I hit a tree, I want to be covered. because we take a lot of support requests, and I'm going to say 75% of them are single vehicle accidents. So that is, I lost it in a corner, I hit gravel, I hit grass, a dog ran out in front of me, I hit a deer, all those kind of things, right? Well, guess what? The deer and the dog don't have any insurance, and neither does the tree. So you have to cover yourself. Then you need to make sure that your insurance actually covers you medically when something like that happens, because my insurance would not in Florida. It has to have another vehicle involved. Now, they will cover my bike, but I mean, let's face it, the bike is the least of the worries after an accident. And so, you know, that's just my thing. I hear a lot of people, and I know a few that run without insurance. And the truth of the matter is, if you can't afford, a lot of people aren't going to like what I'm about to say, if you can't afford insurance, you can't afford a motorcycle, period. Because you need to protect yourself. You also need to protect me. Like, if you go out and run into me on your motorcycle, I'm expecting your insurance to help me out, and that's on you. Just like you're expecting my insurance to help you out. So guys, do all your fellow bikers a favor, and get you some good insurance coverage as well, especially if you like to ride in group rides and ride with other people. And I mean, shit happens, right? But if shit happens to you and it affects me and my family, then that's a pretty crappy situation. And I sure hope that you've got my back, and you've got your insurance. Because that's the thing, guys. You need to insure yourself. Period, plain and simple. Ain't nobody going to take care of you. It's kind of like life, right? Ain't nobody going to do it for you, so you need to do it for yourself. If you get lucky and happen to get into the accident with somebody like me that, you know, actually does have coverage, great. But you can't count on that. The majority are not going to have it, and that's just a bad deal for you and your family. Anyway, kind of a bummer video today. Not to mention I have a hurricane. So we have a hurricane we're watching. Hurricane is headed to Florida. Looks almost identical to the one that hit us last year, Ian. This is another I name too. Right now it's targeted up higher than where Ian was, but Ian started out targeting up higher too. That's why we had Desi leave St. Pete and come to Port Charlotte, and then she was in the eye of the storm. So I think she's just going to stay put in St. Pete this time, but it looks like it's the cone is covering St. Pete and Sarasota right now. It's not covering Port Charlotte yet, but they did close Lee County schools, Port Charlotte schools. So they're closing all the schools around. That's never a good sign, right? So we're just kind of waiting and watching, you know, seeing what needs to be done. Are we going to continue on the trip? Are we going to do like we did last year, get a U-Haul, fill it up with supplies, head there? Who knows? We don't know what it's like now. Right now, I think it's barely a tropical storm, but they're saying it could be a Category 3, which Ian that hit us last year was a Category 4 almost. I mean, it was like this close to being a Cat 5. So, you know, that's 2 more categories. So that's a lot more damaging. But a Cat 3 can do a lot of damage too. Anywho, at this point, we're just guessing. So we're keeping an eye on everything. Please keep all the Florida people in your thoughts and prayers. Keep the young couple that wrecked in New Jersey in your thoughts and prayers. And just look out for each other, guys. And getting that insurance, you know, talk to a local attorney too. We've got some that sponsor us. I'm sure you've got a good one in your area. Ask them what insurance you need, because the last thing you want to do is get in an accident and put your family out, my family out, or anybody else's family out for the fact of that matter. So do your best to take care of each other. There are small things we can do that can benefit all of us, and one of those is just getting insurance for a motorcycle. And if you can't get insurance, I don't know, man, maybe park the bike. I hate to give that advice, but I mean, I would hate to see your family go through anything, or my family go through anything. Anyway, I digress. That is it. That is today's Badger Talk, right? They have TED Talks. That's my Badger Talk for today. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. It's beautiful here in the Ozarks, though. The sun's out. The temperature's great. We actually should be on the motorcycles riding today because it's so beautiful. But we got work to do, right? Just because we're out on the road doesn't mean our work stops. We got up this morning. We turned on the computers. We went to work. Anywho, that is the end. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.